Hello, everyone. Welcome to Easy Life, the channel that brings you knowledge and the essence of life through the pages of great books. Today, I would like to share with you a book that is considered a treasure trove containing ideas from the art of investing, human psychology's misjudgments, multidimensional thinking, the circle of competence, and various philosophies that span throughout the entire life of the brilliant investor Charlie Munger, whom the investment king, Warren Buffett, deeply respects. There's an interesting story. At the end of every annual shareholders meeting, Warren Buffett always seeks Charlie Munger's opinion, but each time he simply shrugs and says, "I have nothing to add." Then one year, Munger couldn't attend, so Warren Buffett brought a photograph and a recorder replaying Munger's words, "I have nothing to add." Warren Buffett said, "I can't do without Munger even for a moment. He has turned me from an ape into a human." As a partner, the behind-the-scenes strategist of Warren Buffett, Munger is not only a master in the investment world, but also a victor over destiny. Through the ups and downs of years, he has navigated against the current of life and enriched himself, achieving happiness. Life is always filled with obstacles and challenges. What qualities and mindset do you need to ride the waves, overcome the winds, steer the sails of life, and achieve freedom in terms of time and finances? Or will you constantly be trapped in the cycle of busyness with little progress in financial life? Today's book is a collection of advice, public speeches, and media interviews by Charlie Munger over the past 20 years. At the same time, it's the crystallization of his lifetime wisdom. In this video, I will focus on Munger's profound insights into life, psychology, and investment. Whether you're in business or investment, this book is worth reading and rereading because it can help us broaden our horizons, provide opportunities to learn wisdom, and the secret to a happy life from a 99-year-old man who is wise, humble, reserved, successful, and full of determination. And now, I invite you to listen to today's sharing through the book, Charlie Munger's Almanack. The ancients used to say that contentment always brings happiness, and that's also Munger's philosophy of life. Despite being incredibly wealthy, Munger's purpose in life isn't to accumulate wealth obsessively, but to enjoy the joy of doing business. People often say, be content with what you have, but if one is too content with reality, how can they maintain the desire and enthusiasm needed to steadfastly pursue higher goals? So, what specifically must be done to maintain a contented mind while still developing oneself, one's career, and one's finances? When you understand Charlie Munger's ideas, you will realize that achieving this requires addressing the following two factors. Firstly, it's about letting go of jealousy. Everyone hopes to earn money faster than others, but if your entire mind revolves mainly around the question, how can I become wealthier? Then, at that point, money becomes a soulless, meaningless number to you. When your mind is disturbed by comparisons with what others have achieved, it's difficult to fully concentrate on what's most important for yourself. The book mentions a lesson from the great investor George Soros. In the early 2000s, when many people started investing and profiting significantly from high-tech stocks, George Soros was influenced by this trend. He was even haunted by the idea that if others were making money, he had to as well. As a result, he heavily invested in the technology sector, but ended up losing in the chaotic mess. On the other hand, Charlie Munger directed Berkshire Hathaway to focus solely on insurance, and that's also a key factor that led the company to take solid steps forward. Munger has never been envious because he understands that this is a foolish emotion. Overcoming one mountain leads to encountering an even taller one. We will never find joy in achieving something when behind it always lies a motive of comparison. Letting go of jealousy is what allows you to be content with what you're currently doing. Contentment doesn't mean you can't attain more. Instead, it makes you rational, preventing you from deviating from reality or heading towards the abyss of destruction. And the second point is, going against the wind by rejecting herd mentality. T.Munger often mentions the advertising company Columbia, which was a leading company in the industry and almost monopolized the entire market. However, with the development of the real estate sector, the management followed this trend. They spent billions of dollars to build hotels, but the market later became saturated, and the hotels couldn't be sold. Hundreds of millions of invested money went to waste, and the company faced significant difficulties. T.Munger stated that what caused damage to this company wasn't the market, but the foolish herd mentality of society. If you follow others' footsteps, it will ultimately lead to a dead end. The market might seem like a fat cake, but when everyone rushes in to grab a piece, there will inevitably be those who go home empty-handed. When Warren Buffett first partnered with Munger, like most other investors, they only bought undervalued stocks. However, Munger boldly suggested buying expensive stocks of large companies because these companies had strong growth potential, and their stocks had more value. After a few years, most companies that bought cheap stocks only made average profits, while Warren Buffett's company had remarkable growth. Some people think that going with the wind allows you to capture new opportunities. However, in reality, those who follow the wind face challenges because every new gust seems to require even more effort to change course. However, it's important to be cautious, as this effort often has limited effectiveness as it distracts and disperses your energy. In competition, only by maintaining independent thinking and focusing all resources on one area of expertise can you firmly step forward. T.Munger also said that if you're going your own way and not receiving praise, just ignore them. When you can go against the wind with independent and brave thinking, steadfast judgment essentially, you already possess a deeply contented mind, extremely assured, content with your choices, not looking left or right, not distracted and not carried away by any wind. It's precisely because he knows enough that Munger doesn't follow consumer trends. He lives modestly and frugally. Even though economic theory and the current financial system often advocate spend based on your expenses to decide your income, Munger adopts the reverse approach. Decide your expenses based on how much you earn. Ensuring a surplus in finances is essentially making sure you earn more than you spend. This is a minimal financial management skill for an individual. At the same time, when you know enough, you won't tend to overspend beyond your income. Munger vehemently opposes debt. He'd rather temporarily cut expenses than ever consider credit cards. No one can accumulate wealth while paying exorbitant interest rates. T.Munger also believes that the best way to fight inflation is to reduce demand, especially material demand. This not only helps us accumulate wealth, but also nurtures our intelligence and allows us to lead a happy life. No matter how large your house is, your bed is still no more than 2 meters long. No matter how rich your possessions are, you still only need 3 meals a day. The items we need to live are actually quite minimal. Being content with reality and what you have is a quality that helps you achieve a happy and successful life. If contentment is like your shield, then the quality of continuous learning and the desire to enhance knowledge are the guiding principles in your hands. They will propel you to venture into a higher, wider world.
I don't know about you, but I have a special admiration for elderly people who continue to have a thirst for learning. When I was studying abroad, I had a classmate who was an elderly Japanese lady over 70 years old. Every time I had a conversation with her, I felt an indescribable emotion. I also have several other older friends, all of whom I coincidentally met at the university library or the city library. They have silver hair and beards, yet they radiate vitality. Every day, they sit in a corner, regularly reading books and jotting down notes with their pens. They don't rely on technology. They are loyal to physical books and the practice of handwriting. Taking their own pen to transcribe content from books helps them train their memory. And when I read books about Charlie Munger's life, I imagine an almost 100-year-old man contemplating books every day. This truly makes me hold deep respect and admiration for him. Warren Buffett even calls Charlie Munger the two-legged bookshelf. How much does he love reading? There's a story that tells of a scholar inviting Munger to breakfast. Yet even though the scholar arrived an hour early, Munger was already there, engrossed in reading. He has a habit of reading in the morning. He rises at 6 a.m. every day, finds a quiet place, and dives into reading. He also says that he hasn't met an intelligent person in his life who doesn't read every day. Books are like our 3 daily meals. Their benefits are hard to fully articulate, yet they are indispensable in life. While reading, knowledge quietly transforms into nourishment, enriching the mind and expanding our perspective. Notably, Munger's reading list covers an extensive range of topics. He seems to know everything about economics, law, sociology, psychology, history, geography, and more. One of his main purposes for reading extensively and diversely is to acquire worldly wisdom. So, what is worldly wisdom? In 1994, Munger delivered a speech at the USC Business School where he introduced what he termed as worldly wisdom. Worldly wisdom is understood as broad and diverse wisdom and knowledge that encompasses various aspects of life, including understanding human beings, society, politics, culture, and more. Those with worldly wisdom often possess the ability to apply their knowledge and experience to make intelligent and effective decisions in their daily work. Charlie Munger believes that before becoming a skilled stock market investor, we need to understand and apply worldly wisdom. Building worldly wisdom. Don't hold just a hammer. Charlie Munger deeply resonates with a famous quote by an acclaimed American writer that goes like this: "To a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you have only one kind of tool, you will always use it to solve everything." Similarly, with thinking, when you have only one kind of thinking in your head, you'll use it to analyze most problems. Throughout life, most people tend to apply the thinking from one specific field of knowledge. This is no different from the classic tale of the blind men and the elephant. We are the blind ones, and the elephant represents the truth of the world. The blind person touching the elephant is a metaphor for how we interact with the truth. Political science learners use political thinking to analyze. Economics students use economic perspectives. Psychology researchers apply psychological methods to explain issues. This isn't necessarily a mistake, but it confines our understanding of everything to limitations and bias. Munger believes that we should develop multidisciplinary thinking models. He himself likely possesses over 100 types of thinking. He posits that if a person masters 80 to 90 thinking methods, they are close to possessing worldly wisdom. This is why when Munger decides, he collects information and factors related to a company, then utilizes multidisciplinary thinking models, providing a foundation and framework to quickly comprehend the essence of the company. Building a model that combines many types of thinking results in profound insight and observation. All knowledge from various fields, be it history, biology, physics, engineering, chemistry, or psychology, is self-taught by him, not through classrooms. He asserts that nothing in the world exists independently. With multidisciplinary thinking, you'll discover relationships among everything in the universe. For instance, he asserts that Darwin's theory of evolution has significant relevance to our modern business. In human history, there were many exceptional human species, and the human race made progress steps. But this evolution wasn't designed by a single individual, rather through competition from the bottom up. This parallels building businesses today. Outstanding human projects don't start with investing billions of dollars for people to work hard. They stem from laborers, those who relentlessly nurture and enhance their competitive abilities for development. This is the amalgamation of biological thinking into business. In a lecture at Harvard University in 1995, Munger introduced the concept of the Lollapalooza effect. Put simply, it's an amplifying effect where multiple interconnected factors stack up, leading to a leap. 1 + 1 + 1 will be greater than 3. Once the quantity of your multidisciplinary thinking methods accumulates to a certain extent, it will start to acquire a synthesis power, and its stacking will make you a thinker with an extraordinary perspective, observation, and analysis that's hard to fathom. An increasingly diversified thinking model may not guarantee success, but it will certainly provide you with a more comprehensive, objective, and accurate way of viewing, describing, and analyzing the risks in your goals, investment methods, market valuation, etc. Additionally, for someone aspiring to become an effective investor, even if they don't grasp 80 to 90 types of multidisciplinary thinking, they should at least understand the thinking of a few critical models, including mathematics, accounting, psychology of misjudgment, microeconomics, and influence circle thinking. He doesn't require mastery in all fields, just basic understanding of different disciplines. Moreover, when Munger studied law at Harvard, a top law school, he noticed that the lecturers there only taught from books and didn't delve into the principles behind the laws. He likened those at Harvard Law to carriage horses with blinkers, and he was deeply concerned about this situation. Thus, having a high degree does not equate to excellence. A degree is only part of the proof of one's learning ability to become a master like Charlie Munger. Lifelong learning and self-education are essential. Additionally, each year he reassesses his thinking model, discarding outdated thinking and incorporating new behavioral methods. It must be said that Munger is perpetually changing, learning every day, and this is a philosophy that greatly influences me. After reading this book, I began to read diverse types of books and aimed to develop myself comprehensively through the Easy Life channel by reading numerous books of various genres. Hopefully, after watching my channel, you can gradually accumulate more knowledge, list and develop thinking to create your own multidisciplinary thinking model and use it to solve issues in your own life. There are difficult issues in life that require thinking in reverse to find the answers. One time, Charlie Munger was walking and met a farmer. The farmer said, "If I knew where I would die, I wouldn't go there. I would never go to that place." Munger pondered and found it to be true. If you know how to experience pain, you will know how to attain happiness. If you know how to run out of money, you will know how to accumulate wealth. Alcohol addiction, drug addiction, laziness, excessive procrastination, neglecting health, these are fast tracks to living in misery. Indulging in material desires immoderately, becoming mechanical, reckless, irresponsible, self-centered, these are swift paths to poverty. Think in reverse, and you will know what you need to do to avoid them. Using reverse thinking in your work and life is advice Munger offers to young people. When you join a company, instead of asking, "How can I contribute to the company?" ask yourself, what could go catastrophically wrong for the company? What needs to be done to prevent it? Reversing difficulties and negatives may seem counterintuitive, but Munger stated that not being stupid is easier than trying to be smart because you can avoid some foolish decisions based on simple principles. Charlie Munger's reverse thinking reminds me of the philosophy of negative visualization in Stoicism. In some aspect, both share similarities, even when things are still favorable. You still need to imagine and anticipate challenging situations to be prepared when things turn worse, and have a proper way of dealing with them. As a philosopher reminds us, destiny often surprises the unprepared, but those who are vigilant can easily defend themselves, and for that vigilance, you need to think in reverse. For me, learning this philosophy is a way to cultivate wise thinking like Munger's and to forge the resilient spirit of Stoics. Moving on, when discussing the masterpiece of the sage Charlie Munger, we can't omit his famous value investing philosophy. First, let's delve into Circle of Competence, Do What You Can in this book.
It is mentioned that when starting investments, Munger categorizes everything into 3 types. First, things you can invest in. Second, things you can understand but can't invest in. And finally, things you can't understand. For instance, in the case of investing in high-tech fields as mentioned earlier, Munger didn't get involved because he believed it fell into the category of things he couldn't understand. Even if a certain field is trending, making a lot of money and growing rapidly, if you lack knowledge about it, don't invest in it. Munger advised us to only do what we can. Those with genuine competence work within their realm of capability and can clearly see their own limits. They never invest time, money, or effort into uncertain ventures. However, unfortunately, people tend to overestimate their own abilities. In the eagerness to achieve rapid success, we forget that the key to success is doing what can be done. He emphasized not to overcomplicate things and always remember what you can do. Human capacity is limited. Only by defining the scope of our capabilities and making accurate predictions can we invest effectively. But someone might argue that if we only do what we can, it's like not daring to step out of our comfort zone. We'll remain stagnant. Here you need to pay special attention to this. Munger advises us to focus on tasks within our circle of competence, but it doesn't mean neglecting personal development and expanding that circle. His unwavering dedication to reading and learning serves as the most evident testimony to this. Determine the margin of safety, patience, and the golden moment. When it comes to stock investment, many people prefer to buy low and sell high. They sell as soon as stocks rise, making profits and quickly losing them. They often rely heavily on government policies and news, caring less about the company's operations. On one hand, this is because most people lack business knowledge and can't evaluate a company's activities. On the other hand, it's due to the impulsive nature of investment psychology. Charlie Munger has lived by the principle of value investing his entire life. The core of value investing is consistently evaluating the company's value before evaluating the value of its stock. If a company's value is underestimated compared to its actual value, then buy in. If not, and you still buy in, it's dangerous, as determining the company's value always goes hand in hand with defining the margin of safety. This means that when investing, consider whether the company falls within a safe range. Safety here doesn't mean buying extremely cheap stocks of a mediocre company, but rather acquiring reasonably priced shares of an excellent company. Even if the company's stock is down 30%, or if the company faces significant fluctuations, if you perceive its value, you can still hold on to it. To achieve this, apart from enhancing understanding and predictability, patience in investment is also crucial. Munger employs a metaphor of a 20-day punched card. He considers it your investment lifetime. This implies that each person only has 20 investment opportunities in life, so choose stocks cautiously. Furthermore, in those 20 instances, you must be patient because according to Munger, a person only experiences 3 to 4 significant investment opportunities in their entire life. Just enough. Each instance may take decades to yield substantial wealth. Extreme patience combined with resolute determination is the fusion in Munger's investment behavior.
When all conditions are right and a decision can be made, he commits, patiently waiting for the golden moment.
Lastly, let's delve into the realm of human cognitive biases. Munger believes there are psychological tendencies we must strive to distance ourselves from, as they can hinder success in investment once influenced by them. In the book, a total of 25 psychological biases are listed, all of which can lead us to make incorrect evaluations. Due to the time limitations of this video, we'll only discuss the 2 most prominent biases. Firstly, there's the highly detrimental tendency of self-distortion. People always twist and distort reality until it becomes tolerable. This is the denial psychology aimed at avoiding pain, which many of us fall victim to. This type of denial especially manifests when you're devoid of hope or options in a given event. For example, after a long period of diligent studying, we try to pass a difficult exam, yet ultimately, we fail. Afterward, we tend to console ourselves by saying that this field isn't suited for us. This is the distortion of objective circumstances. Another form of distortion is that in differing opinions about individuals, we tend to prefer those who are similar to us. Hence, it's quite easy for others to exploit this psychology. Additionally, if faced with people who have contrary opinions to ours, we often fail to listen, which might lead us to lose truly loyal friends. Furthermore, there's the distortion of self-esteem. If we've achieved some level of success or performed well in something, there's a high likelihood we'll overestimate ourselves. When overestimated, it becomes easy to stagnate or even fail in subsequent endeavors. In this book, the author frequently mentions how some highly skilled entrepreneurs, after achieving success in one field, consider themselves unmatched geniuses, and the ultimate result is their downfall. The second aspect involves our tendency to misjudge things that are easily attainable. Because for things that aren't difficult to acquire, we often overestimate their significance. For instance, in exam preparation, we easily remember 80% of the material, then comfort ourselves by saying that those were the most important parts. The rest is too hard, surely they won't appear on the test. However, typically during the exam, the questions appear exactly in the areas you haven't prepared for, leading to frustration. We blame it on bad luck. This is an error in evaluating ease of attainment. Unlike Warren Buffett, a widely praised figure, T.Munger intentionally avoids the limelight and leads a relatively obscure life. He is composed, preferring tranquility and rich in wisdom. Today, we've explored the venerable sage, the master of investment, through this book. Even Warren Buffett himself regards it as a bedside companion. In the final part of today's video, we'll review the entire content through Munger's thinking and style to sum it up. Firstly, the fundamental goal of life isn't about how much money you make, but rather about avoiding failure, illness, early death, and unexpected risks to achieve success and live a happy life. We need to develop a foundation of values, including eagerness to learn, tolerance, calmness, and wisdom. Simultaneously, continuous self-learning helps construct multidimensional thinking models. This is Munger's worldly wisdom. It applies not only to practical investments, but also to academic studies, self-development, life improvement, and personality enhancement. If you aspire to become an investor, it will aid in selecting the best stocks, making proper decisions, and eventually reaping great success. If you're an academic, you can deepen your understanding across various fields, establish connections between them, and apply natural scientific models to solve societal problems. To continue personal development, we can follow Munger's path by avoiding unworthy temptations and malicious individuals. Reflect on the meaning of life in quietness and wholeheartedly contribute to helping others, ultimately becoming a sage in both ethics and career. However, to be as persevering as Munger in worldly wisdom requires enormous patience. As Confucius said, constancy is the highest virtue. Those truly patient are rare. T.Munger has often mentioned that he's learned much from Confucius's philosophy. Munger's worldly wisdom also bears some resemblance to Confucius's ideals. No deviation, no giving up on goals, justness, and gentleness. But how many of us can truly be perseverant in the end? Hopefully, we can become one of the few who can. Thank you for listening to Easy Life, a channel that explores knowledge and life's meaning through captivating books. If you found today's video valuable, please share it with those who might find it helpful. Show your support by liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications to catch our latest weekly videos. And if you have any thoughts or feelings, don't hesitate to share them in the comments section below. Thank you, everyone. Farewell, and see you in the next videos.